Hello, and thank you for joining me today on Loyal World Info. Another day of the globe spinning, another day of global news to digest. I offer a sane, rational voice in an insane, rational time. I will be your host, and let's get into today's topics. Okay, today is August 29th, 2020. And I wanted to do a short video today with a few interesting articles. And these three articles are: 2 South Koreans reportedly kidnapped from fishing vessels off Guam, China captures Hong Kong activists fleeing by sea, and Japan's flying car gets off the ground with a person aboard. Now stay with me and let's get into these stories. Okay. Our first article of the day is 2 South Koreans reportedly kidnapped from fishing vessel off Guam. Now, first off, this is from the Korean Herald, but I thought it was interesting because quite often, whether it's the U.S. or sometimes Korea itself, we hear about Samoa and Samoan, where they do have a lot of hijacking, whether it's oil rigs or they capture fishing boats and stuff, and then they do hold these people ransom. And U.S. and Korea both have paid big money in the past to free people, so they kind of encourage it. Now, the reason I brought this up, one, I thought was interesting, but I had no idea where Ghana is. So I did look it up, and this is a country that is toward the southern end of Africa. So I guess Africa is pretty good for pirating these days. Let's read the stories. It's kind of short. 2 South Korean nationals have been reportedly kidnapped by unidentified gunmen off the waters of Yemen. A Ghanaian flag fishing vessel was attacked in waters 200 kilometers southeast of the coastal city of Tema on Friday, according to Derard Global, a London-based maritime security consultancy and Seoul officials. A total of 50 crewmen, including 2 South Koreans, were aboard the vessel, AP 703. And the pirates abducted only the Koreans, according to the Derard Global. So I guess the other 48 were local crewmen. The incident came 2 months after 5 Korean sailors were abducted in the waters off Benin in West Africa. So yeah, so again, a lot of piracy going on. They were aboard the Ghanaian vessel, the Poti Frontier, when it was attacked by an armed group of 24. So again, these people do attack these fishing boats and oil tankers. For some reason, oil tankers can't have guns on them. I don't know why. Maybe you know that, and you can leave a comment below. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, though, if you do go traveling, or if you are a sailor, you work on a fishing boat or some other kind of boat, what do you do for protection? Like, how do you protect your boat, whether you're sleeping on it overnight, or how do you protect it from being hijacked? I mean, I personally don't know, but I would be interested in hearing your comments below if you work on one. What you do to protect your boat and yourself from hijackers. And what would you do if you were hijacked? Do you think a country should pay millions of dollars to free you and deal with the terrorists? Yes, no? Like, comment, subscribe. Okay, our second article of the day. China captures a Hong Kong activist fleeing by sea. So before I get into this, you do know that China took over Hong Kong, and they pretty much had their way. They rewrote the constitution to extradite citizens from Hong Kong back to Beijing for trial, and they basically stopped most protests by saying it's against the law. And not just in Hong Kong, but they pretty much did this as a global law, which many Western countries will not extradite people that that denounce China in their countries, but they will, like say all these other communist countries, Laos, Cambodia, Russia, they will extradite citizens back to China due to this international law, perhaps even Canada. But anyway, so because of all that, and all these people that want to flee Hong Kong to get away from going to jail, because remember, just last week, that big Mongol rich guy, newspaper writer, he was arrested, so they're cracking down hard. So these people are trying to escape by boat to get away. But to me, I found it funny because both Taiwan and the United Kingdom both offered like thousands upon thousands of visas, permanent visas to people that want to resettle. So I'm not sure why these people didn't want to get in line and wait and just hastily escape. But let's read the story and get into it. Hong Kong. China authorities have detained a dozen activists from Hong Kong who were attempting to leave the territory via speedboat, according to the people familiar with the attempt and the individuals captured. The incident signals the intensification of Beijing campaign to seek out protest leaders and others resisting the Communist Party's tightening grip on the territory. At least one of the people on board the boat, which was seized last Sunday by the Chinese Coast Guard, was an activist who was being investigated under the city's new national security law, said one of the people familiar with the capture. The group was apparently trying to flee to Taiwan, and said a second person familiar with the episode. More than 200 Hong Kong protesters and activists have sought refuge in Taiwan over the past year. The detainees on Sunday were the first confirmed cases, such as the activists being caught by the Chinese authorities at sea. Remember, it was just last week that somebody also was arrested under this law, and they were denied bail. So they basically, if you get caught under this new national security law, you get no bail, you sit in jail. And remember, China has like a 99.9% you're guilty rate. The attempt to flee Hong Kong points to an anxiety that has set in among activists as the Communist Party tightens its grip on simultaneous territory to quell dissent. Beijing imposed a sweeping security law on June 30th that punishes political crimes such as subversion with potentially heavy prison sentences. China's Coast Guard confirmed that it had stopped a speedboat about 45 numerical miles southeast of Hong Kong Island on Sunday. Officers detained more than 10 people suspected of illegally crossing the border, it said on its official social media page on Wednesday, without providing further details. Among the people captured was Andy Lee, a Hong Kong activist who helped organize a group of independent poll monitors from overseas for local elections last year. One of the people said Lee had also traveled to Geneva and the United States to advocate for Hong Kong's democratic movement. Lee had been arrested in Hong Kong on April 10th as part of a broad police sweep that included Jimmy Lee. Yeah, Jimmy Lee was that really prominent founder, the pro-democracy newspaper guy I mentioned earlier. So I have another question for you. How would you feel if your country is extraditing people? Does your country extradite people back to China or any country for that matter? And do you think it's right for them to do that? Leave your comments below on that. It was not immediately clear if Li or the other detainees in the Chinese Coast Guard will face potential immigration charges in Guangdong province or be directly returned to Hong Kong. For many in Hong Kong, activists attempted to flee the city have evoked the memory of the effort to spirit distance out of the mainland China after the Chinese military's deadly crackdown on the protesters of Tiananmen Square in Beijing 1989. During the tremendous earlier periods in Chinese recent history, refugees fled to Hong Kong through similar perilous routes. Hong Kong police said that they were notified by mainland authorities on Friday that 12 residents between the ages of 16 and 33 had been detained. Hong Kong Security Bureau said on Friday that they were being held by authorities on the mainland and that the city's police would seek information about their cases and notify their family members. They did not confirm the residents' identities. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because the article goes on for quite some time. But what do you think about this? Again, about this whole law, about the whole international thing. And personally, my opinion, I think that China, for the most part, created the virus with the U.S. help because the U.S. gave funding, like $38 million. But basically, they created the virus, unleashed it, so that they could squash the Hong Kong protests. They could take care of internal and external affairs while everybody else scrambled to take care of themselves. And so my view, what China did with the coronavirus is act of war, modern day. So anyway, leave your comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Okay, moving on to our third story of the day. Japan's flying car gets off the ground with a person aboard. So, there's this nice, cool picture here. For those on YouTube, you can see the car going up. And there's somebody inside of it. Now, let me read the article. In Tokyo, the decades-old dream zipping around the sky as simply driving on highways may be becoming less illusionary. Japan Skydive Incorporated, among the myriad of flying car projects around the world, has carried out a successful, though modest, test flight with one person aboard. In the video shown to reporters on August 28th, a contraption that looks like a slick motorcycle with propulsions lifted several feet, 1 through 2 meters, off the ground and hovered in a netted area for more than 4 minutes. Tomoko Fukushima, who heads the skydive effort, has said his hopes the flying car can be made into a real-life product by 2023, but he acknowledged that making it safe was critical. Of the world's more than 100 flying car projects, only a handful has been succeeded with a person on board, he told the Associated Press. I hope many people will want to ride it and feel safe. The machine so far can fly just for 5 to 10 minutes, but if it can become 30 minutes, it will have much more potential. And that's true. Unlike airplanes and helicopters, or electrical vertical takeoff and landing vehicles that offer quick point-to-point personal travel, at least in principle. So that's what he wants to do, is say, hey, I want to go here. They could do away with the hassle of airports and traffic jams and the cost of hiring pilots. They could fly automatically. Battery sizes, air traffic control, and other infrastructure issues are among the many potential challenges to the communication thing. So here's my thing. Right now they said they could be about 10 million to buy one. So my question for you is, what do you think? Do you think we will get flying cars in your lifetime? And what do you think about that? Would you enjoy flying in a flying car, or are you more, I want to be on the ground kind of a person? Is there any tech that you do hope to see in your lifetime? Please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know. Well, that will conclude Loyal World News. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Feel free to like, subscribe, or drop a comment below. If you're on the go, listen to my podcast with the link provided in the description. I will see you tomorrow to share more world news.